Hello, I'm Renata Jenkins Bowler, the third generation of the Roller family. I would like to first say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and welcome you to our first virtual holiday message of peace. When a family asks Roller to guide them through their journey of grief, our services do not end after a funeral is over. Our mission is to provide you with an experience that helps foster healing. That experience is usually full of hugs and surrounding you with the ones that you love most. In a year, though, when we've been asked to stay 6 feet apart and wear our masks, that experience must look a little different. That is why my family has asked our dear friend Chuck Monin, some may know him as the Pigskin Preacher, to come and share his thoughts on grief during such an unprecedented year. After watching this message, please invite your friends to join, and then please come back again on December the 21st for our second message before Christmas.
Great to be with you, Renata.
It's our honor and our pleasure.
3 millennia ago, the prophet Isaiah foretold that the people living in darkness would see a great light. Those words came to fruition in a field in Bethlehem some 2,000 years ago, as shepherds were keeping watch over their flocks. The arrival of the Messiah would be a game changer that remains the greatest event that history has ever seen. And yet, the song, O Little Town of Bethlehem, summed up so well what was happening on that night when it said, "The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight." This is a time of year that some look forward to with such anticipation, and others, unfortunately, with great dread. We see this so often because the crowded house that we once took for granted is now a place of isolation. Times of celebration with friends and family and loved ones have given way to the empty chair if you suffered a loss during this time of year. Just last month in the nation of Japan, more died from suicide than from COVID-19, reminding us that while this is the most wonderful time of the year for some, that it's a time of great pain and loss and tragedy for others. This is always a time when I try to visit the senior citizens, those in nursing homes and assisted living facilities, which during this time of year is almost impossible because of the pandemic. But so many people are looking for a smile, a touch, an affirmation that simply isn't there. When you add to the usual problems of the world, all of the demoralization and division of 2020, we find ourselves in quite dire straits. And yet some are asking the question, what about that announcement that the angels made of peace on earth and goodwill to men? Where has all that gone? Because I don't feel much like that in my own life. And yet there's a story that gives us hope that goes all the way back to the year 1861. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow was America's greatest poet, and his house was the picture of domestic tranquility with his beloved wife and their 6 children. But in 1861, events transpired that would cause that to be changed forever. A fire swept through the Longfellow house, taking Longfellow's wife. He tried desperately to save her, but he was unable to do so, being injured himself in the fire. Shortly thereafter, the United States that he loved so much dissolved in civil war, with brother fighting against brother. And shortly thereafter, Longfellow's eldest son, Charles, stole away in cover of night and enlisted in the Union Army. Pretty soon, the word came back that his son was wounded. Longfellow took to Washington, D.C. To see his son in the hospital, to nurse him back to health. And when he was well enough to travel, he came back to Cambridge, Massachusetts. So now in 1863, Longfellow was sitting in his Cambridge home. His wife is gone. Much of his own health has been damaged. His son's future is in peril, and he's got 5 little ones to take care of while the nation rages in war against itself. And then on Christmas Day, Longfellow heard the peal of bells from a nearby church, and his heart was overflowing with emotion. And he sat down, he put pen to paper, and this is what he came up with. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. and thought how, as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men, till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day, a voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And then from each black accursed mouth the cannon thundered in the south, and with the sound the carols drowned of peace on earth, goodwill to men. It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of a continent and made forlorn the households born of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And in despair, I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. My friend, if your heart is heavy during this time of year, understand this. God still reigns. There are still many good men and women around. And from our friends at the Roller Funeral Home, we wish you with all of our heart a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.